We are live. This is Renee Thomas with the My Mental Boost, and I am an advocate and I am a presenter for your mind. You see, your mind is your tool, and that tool is meant to make your life easier, not to make it harder, difficult, complicated. It's supposed to make your life easier. So, is it making your life easier? If it is, marvelous, we can enhance that, or you can enhance that. If it's not making your life as easy as you would like it, well, you can enhance that because the brain was designed with the ability to always self-regulate and update and adapt and to change. Now, neuroplasticity is the feature of the brain that allows this. What interferes with neuroplasticity? Does anyone know? What interferes with neuroplasticity is this. The subconscious is mind, part of the mind, that has programs in it that are not as helpful as they seem. So we hold on to a lot of programs that are coming from fear, doubt, lower vibe emotions. Now, lower vibe emotions, are we okay with them? Yes, we like them. Lower vibe emotions actually are like a little indicator that we have something to pay attention to. So you have your dashboard in your car, and the dashboard says air tire pressure. That tells you, oh, check, see what's going on with the tires. Or it says something like low gas. So, we don't ignore that forever. We have to make sure that we get that filled. Okay. Now, here's the thing. I'm a person who seems to always wait till it's on lower gas, but you don't have to. A lot of people have where they top it off at, half gets down to there, they're going to top it off. What does that prevent for them? Good things, right? Whereas someone who waits, like moi, as I am driving, I'm racing to get to the gas station. So sometimes we'll be doing that with major things in life, okay? We actually have a way to prevent and resolve things quite easily without having to wait until the lower vibe kicks on and tells us there's an issue. You have to ask yourself, which do you want? Do you want to be preventative and resolving, or do you want to continue with coping and managing? Okay? Coping and managing is different than resolving and prevention. Matter of fact, I think I printed that out. Oops, it's underneath my computer. I bet you if I move it, it's going to move everything. We softly get it out. We're still trying to softly get it out. Woo, we got it out softly. Okay, so I printed this out so that I could just read what it says. There's 4 ways to navigate in life. Now, that's just my way of saying it, okay? I'm not saying it's the only way. So coping is to struggle without a belief that I can do something about the cause. That's coping. Managing is belief we can modify and reduce the impact. Okay, that's pretty good too. Prevention is a belief that you can act to stop something from happening. And then resolving is a belief that we can settle or find the solution. Okay? So all of those are 4 ways that we can navigate through things that come up in life. Okay? But what we want to decide is which one do we want? Okay? Now, mainstream, or most individuals, they know how to do managing and coping. Okay? They know how to do managing and coping. Now, managing and coping is okay. It has its purpose. sometimes managing and coping is something you might want to use quickly. Okay. As far as in the moment, but you can't do something about. Okay. But when you do prevention and resolution, prevention makes it so you don't have to manage and cope anything. Okay. And resolution means that if you do have to manage something, that you can do it super fast. Okay. So managing, that's what most are used to, managing and coping through life. We're about leveling up to prevention and resolution. And the subconscious is your tool for that. Now, your conscious mind is your logic, and it's the things that you know have happened, and you can decipher and figure out things. It's very helpful to be aware of your surroundings, right? So now the issue is this: the subconscious gets all its information from the conscious mind. So if the conscious mind takes in something of a lower vibe with intensity and keeps repeating it, it then comes into the subconscious. And you know what the subconscious does? Makes it automatic. It does it also for higher vibes. So you have to decide what you want to repeat with the most intensity, because that's what implants it into the subconscious. So we actually have power. We have a superpower. But if you don't know about neuroplasticity and you don't know about subconscious rewiring, you may feel helpless or hopeless with how you're feeling or you're thinking. You actually may have heard, well, it's just a natural response. But I always ask, is it natural or is it the naturally learned way that you're doing? See, because we get what is called, I call it heterosuggestions. And heterosuggestions are basically the programs that we learn from our youth. 0 to 7, people are telling us things, giving us information, and we're learning to use that to navigate or to think or how to view things. Interesting, isn't it? Now, what if some of those informations, those heterosuggestions that are being installed in us from 0 to 7, what if they're not helpful? What if they were saying that we were ugly? And do we want to keep that? Well, we actually don't have to keep that because of neuroplasticity. It adapts and changes. So when you have a pattern that is put into your mind, installed unknowingly usually, or you can do knowingly once you learn how to do this, but unknowingly, you can actually address it. That's what subconscious rewiring. So here at DIY Mental Boost, we do 3 things that we meld together so that there is a connectivity from one to the other. So it's not just neuroplasticity and then, okay, your brain does this, but then, okay, what do I do when it's doing that? Okay. And how do I tell the difference between when it's doing something that's going to be really helpful to me and not helpful to me? We have subconscious rewiring. So that helps you to have the tools. Now, all the tools are at no charge on DIYmentalboost.com. Most of the things that I'm talking to you right now when we start doing suggestions are going to be your conscious way of addressing things. And that's a lot of the things you see with coping and managing, which are good. Okay, we don't have a problem with that. We like coping and managing too. But if you go to my website, DIYmentalboost.com, now that's for leveling up to prevention and resolution. And that's where the tools are, that if you use the tools, when you use them, as you're using them, when you're done with it, you will have a shift. Cool as that. So I learned this about 6 years ago. And then when I learned it, I had decided, well, it would have been nice, helpful if there had been just some videos that you just follow along. And then you had the shift. I had to figure it out. The steps, doing the steps, making sure I'm doing them right and all of this stuff. So it took me longer. But someone could just sit down with a video and get a shift. Isn't that nice? So DIY Mental Boost goes into all of that. We have the workshops that help with that. We have the worksheets you can do, the mental bliss self sessions that you can do all on your own. That's all there at no charge. So you'll go there and you can get started. The workshops are designed to help people give more information, help to feel more comfortable, because this is not what we are taught to do. And so the brain sees it as different. Okay. And what does that mean? Well, if you're not comfortable with different, it might be sending you anxiety. Or if you are comfortable with being different, you might be excited. So basically, it all depends on you and how you feel about different. Okay. Now, what I like to tell people, it's not difficult. It's just different. And it is more pleasant, fast and lasting than managing and coping, and then dealing with emotional distress when unwanted, unexpected, or unknown situations come on in life. So you actually have a power within your brain that was designed there. Now, isn't that wonderful? You were wonderfully made. The only thing is that if you don't know that it's there, you won't use it. But it's actually still doing stuff, but you're not coordinating it. It's being coordinated by the heterosuggestions of other people. And so you will believe that you're having grief because you have to have grief with death. You're having hurt feelings because someone broke up with you. You have to have. That is the message that is connected with those things. So what we like to help people to understand is we actually have a choice how we want to feel. Now, we already know this is possible because some people are not anxious about some things and some people are. So we already know that there can be a difference. But certain things are like hardwired, programmed in so much with just one option of doing. So I'm here to share the other option. And that is the fact that your brain can adapt, regulate any situation that happens in your life, and you stay not just with your head above the water, but thriving in life. If that is what you want, that's what we share here. So we share it. You get to decide what you want to do with it. What are the things that are mentioned that you like, that you want to implement? You don't have to agree with everything I say. You don't have to agree with having to shift this or change this or address this. This is you. You get to decide, is this the way that I wish to feel? And if it's not, then I have a tool to change it. If this is the way that I feel and I don't want to change it, that is okay too, because that's your choice and that is what's right for you. So it's very important to understand this is just an option to let you know what is available. I don't want people to feel that there's no choice but one way of feeling about something that's happened to them. You can decide. And once you decide, you can unwire the other one and reinstall another one. Isn't that cool? I'm telling you, when I learned this, I was like, my brain was on fire because it loved the concept of being able to achieve without stalling, stopping because of mental emotions that were telling you to doubt yourself, telling you that it's too much, too difficult, too tired. When you allow your subconscious mind to do its job, mental fatigue just fades away. Too busy just doesn't really exist. It's a rare occurrence. You see, the body was designed that when you rest, it restores and renews it. But if a person is resting or not able to rest and they're always feeling tired, that's emotional. That's an emotional thing that's going on. Okay. And it is affecting how the subconscious is, or the conscious mind is working, because the subconscious is saying, hey, we get mental fatigue with this. Hey, we get too tired with this. Hey, we get depressed with this. Hey, we get sad with this. Hey, we get, and so then it just plays it. And then the conscious mind is just like, oh yeah, we get tired. So we don't realize that we're running on several different programs that are not in sync. We need the in sync in order to have the coherency that you're looking for. Now, I always tell people, now you know that you want coherency, because if you didn't, you would not stop being sad. You would just let sad just stay. Oh, I love sad. I'm so sad. You would never want to change sad. You would never want to change feeling rejected. But you don't want it. So you have to ask yourself, if I don't want it, why am I using it? That's what I had to ask myself. If I say I don't want it, why am I using it? If I say I don't like tomatoes, why am I eating tomatoes? Well, when we say we don't like tomatoes, we just don't want to eat tomatoes, and we won't. But for some reason with emotions, we just munch on them. Yum, 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 yum. It's okay. Just like if we decide to eat tomatoes even if we don't like it. But you have to ask yourself, am I having what I want in my life? Okay? So if everyone's kind of understanding me, you can give me a thumbs up and let me know what's going on, if you're understanding what I'm saying, and if you like it. That's what we do here at DIY Mental Boost. So we're going to talk a little bit about the fact that DIY Mental Boost, we do neuroplasticity, emotional intelligence, and subconscious rewiring. So we take all three and we meld them together. So it's easy, because most people think their brain is complicated. I did. I know I did. And I thought because it was doing some crazy stuff for me. And I just felt, whoa, helpless or hopeless. But now I understand we're a team. Me and my brain, we're a team. It does what I tell it. And if it's not doing what I tell it, then I gently guide it to the way that I want it to go. It takes practice, just like anything. Right? But the difference is as you start to learn things, if you're open to change, your ability to learn gets faster. So when an individual is saying, oh, I don't learn very fast, well, that's pretty much telling the brain to make sure that it never learns fast. And that will impede the brain's ability to go ahead and help you to learn fast. So remember, whatever you put in, or whatever was unknowingly put on, is what the brain is generating for you. So if you're generating a lot of sadness, if you're generating a lot of hopelessness, if you're generating a lot of doubt, if you're generating a lot of insecurity, that was nicely put in there for you by someone or something or an event or a situation. Now, the thing is this, no one knowingly puts in terror, sadness, and fears and doubts into people. Most don't knowingly, okay? Most do not knowingly do that. It's unknowingly, not being aware of what we're doing. So there is, when you go online, something called cognitive distortions. Now, I don't use cognitive distortions. I don't use it to become fearful of these distortions and to identify them and then just sit with them. I actually tell people cognitive distortions, if you can, just change the usage of them. That's what I do with a lot of things. I see things on TV and I just change the usage. They're trying to tell me there's something wrong with my body. And then I just tell my body when it hears it, oh, aren't you so glad that's not going on with you? You do so good. And if it sounds like my body, like I'm like, ooh, that does sound something like, then I just say, hey, look at that. It says blah, 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 blah. But now the body's just going to take care of that because we all have an inner physician. That's another exciting thing about neuroplasticity. It activates your inner physician. That's a whole nother topic. I'm not going to go into it. But as a massage therapist, I help with people dealing with chronic pain that is connected to their emotions and their illnesses. And anyway, that's exciting stuff. Okay, so cognitive distortions. They say there are irrational short thoughts that shape how you see the world. So basically, they're just thoughts that are throwing off your gauge, so to speak, of being able to discern things well. And that's the emotional intelligence part that we share. Okay. So one of the things with cognitive distortions, they say, is magnification and minimization. This is exaggerating or minimizing the importance of events. You might believe your own achievements are unimportant and that your mistakes are excessively important. So you're just going to switch that. You're going to maximize all the good things you do, and you're going to minimize mistakes, errors. It's okay. You can say, oh, well, okay, now I learned how to do something differently, or I get to try it again, or I'm going to adapt, I'm going to change, So there's so many positive, higher vibe actions you can have with mistakes and failures. Okay? But if you've been trained that those things are really big and important, then the brain is making you feel exactly what it is that you've been trained to feel. It's a program. Once I understood it was a program, I was like, it's a program. Oh, and a program I can change. I was so happy. And I hope you're excited as me. So, catastrophizing. That is seeing the only worst possible outcomes of a situation. So that's one of the ones I actually loved programming in, that I just always assume the best, or I can make good out of any situation. That one is implanted in me. So anytime something comes up, I don't have to rationalize and talk myself into saying it's going to be okay, because my brain just sends me that message. So instead of catastrophizing, why don't you catastrophize that wonderful things are going to happen. The best things are going to happen instead. Okay? And that is what you can do with this technique. Okay? So, overgeneralization. This is making a broad interpretation from a single or few events. And people do this all the time. I had a bad relationship. They're all off men. Someone did this and I'm never talking to them again. Okay, it was a black person who did this to me. I don't like black people, or I don't like Italians, or I don't like Mexicans. And that is based on the fact that we are overgeneralizing. Okay, so magical thinking. That's a belief that thoughts, actions, and emotions influence unrelated situations. If I hadn't hoped something bad, it wouldn't have happened. He wouldn't have gotten into an accident. Okay? So those are the things that magical thinking. If you're going to do magical thinking that wonderful things happen to you every single day. So use your magical thinking in a wonderful way. Because actually, you know what? Wonderful things will start happening every day. That's going into the energy vibration. That's another story, yes, but there are videos on my website that talk about that. Okay. How about personalization? Okay. How about personalization? What is that? Okay. It's a belief that you're responsible for events outside of your control. My mom is always upset, so it would be fine if I did more to help her. Parents get a divorce. Oh, it is your fault. Okay. Those things got nipped in the bud when they first were coming up, especially in children. They wouldn't be doing it as an adult. So personalization, we're taking everything personally. Someone is yelling at us and it has to be our fault. It doesn't have to be our fault. So that's part of emotional intelligence that's telling us, hey, this may not be helpful. And then you can use neuroplasticity of your brain to start doing subconscious rewiring on those beliefs and eliminate them. So coping and managing means it'll come up and then you talk your way out of it. And it comes up again, you talk your way out of it. Preventing a resolution is it comes up. Okay? You rewire your thought patterns on it and then it doesn't come up again. So it's resolved, or it's resolved in that it prevents it from coming up again. So that's a choice. I like people to know the choices that they have at their disposal. It's all free on DIYmentalboost.com. That's what you can do. You can rewire. It's the option we have. We're not taught it in school. We were taught reading, writing, and arithmetic, and some other things. But if we learn this first, neuroplasticity, oh man, first of all, we would sail through reading, writing, and math. And then also in life, we would navigate completely different. But it's okay because we have the ability to do it anytime we want. Once you know something, then you can start to use it if you want. Now remember, with the brain is designed to do what you input it. So if your conscious mind is saying, oh, good, this is exciting. But that's not what the subconscious is saying, because it's used to using all those emotional distress programs also. It's used to it. It's like, you do not have to work yourself up into getting mad. Nobody sits there and says, okay, I'm going to get mad. I really got to get mad. I'm just going to work. I'm going to be. No, nobody says that. It's automatic. Okay. So what you're going to need to do is decide what it is that you want, which program you want. See, we're taught that we run different programs, and that's why the brain is going up and down all the time and sending it back and forth. This, today you're okay, tomorrow you're not, this situation. So the part of the emotional intelligence is figuring out what you want as a program in your head and then play it, install it. Subconscious rewiring. That is all that is in the DIY Mental Biz. Thank you, Woon. It's Woon and 4743. She said he said, you should slow down. So thank you so much. My sisters tell me that all the time. So my information is different than what most people know. So that's why I'm here. Okay. I'm showing a different option. I'm not showing the general option of what people say about the brain, because people don't know that the brain reacts based on your programming. And we can be in charge of it. We can be the coordinators. We can be the coordinators of the captain of our cruise ships. That's what this channel is about. We're not about managing. We're not about coping. We're about preventing. And we are about resolving. Okay, so this is different information to what most people are used to hearing. And it's just an option. It's not required for people to believe it. But if they choose to go to DIYmentalboost.com and start to do the rewire tools that are there, they'll see the benefit of some of the things that I'm saying. So my options are all free at DIYmentalboost.com. My channel has all the information in the descriptions of every single video that I have. They can just get to it and use it. On the website, it says, click, I want to use all your information now fast, or you can join free workshops. We have them online, or we have them local. Okay. Now, what I'm teaching is not in mainstream education, but it is out there. It's been out there for decades. I didn't find it till 6 years ago. That's when I found about prevention and resolution. Right now, mainstream is managing and coping. Okay. Prevention and resolution is actually out there. There are people who have been doing it for years. I just happened to, through desperation of my own self of going through something, came upon it. And it changed how I navigate life and how I handle situations. Okay? So it's just an option. It's just an option. I want people to be aware of it. Doesn't have to be accepted as the option that they want. It's just an option. Okay, so now we're going to look at jumping to conclusions. That was another one. Interpreting the meaning of a situation with little or no evidence. I've done that before. I had to learn to stop doing that. A lot of times, sometimes what we'll do is we will hear someone say something, and then we'll interpretate what it means, and then we'll say, well, that's what they said. So someone says, no, I can't come and pick you up. I've got to go to work, and it's interpreted, well, that person doesn't care about me, so they said they wouldn't. Okay? So that is what would be good. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep things leveled up in a higher vibe. Okay? And when we stay in a higher vibe, we're able to be patient with others when they're saying things that we don't agree with. Okay? So the next thing was mind reading. We're interpreting the thoughts and beliefs of others without adequate evidence. She wouldn't go on a date with me. She probably thinks I'm ugly. You see? We interpret what someone's actions and things like that. So we want to, if we want, we don't have to. We can address things like that. If our brain is giving us those messages and their message we do not want, then that's what we would do. So the next, disqualifying the positive. We recognize only the negative aspects of a situation. We'll turn a whole day bad because of one thing that happened, and we will negate the rest of the things. If we have a habit of doing that, we can resolve that. We could do subconscious rewiring. Now, mainstream usually will tell us to do things like affirmations and gratitudes. I love affirmations and gratitudes because I know how to use them to install things. Okay. And I also can help people to use them to uninstall things that they want. So that is there. Okay. So here is the thing. When you are working with yourself and be able to address things, it's going to take practice. It just takes practice. So the fear may be that the brain is too complicated or scary. Okay, that's because we have programs about it. And most of the times when we're dealing with emotions, since we didn't know how to deal with them, we ignored them or we tolerated them until they became so blaring. Then we had to address them, but then they're so out of control, they're very hard to deal with. Okay, so when we're doing subconscious rewiring, what we're doing is we're getting immediate results. We don't have to do affirmations. We don't have to do gratitudes because why? The brain will sustain them. They'll be there. There'll be a library in there. But if you have to keep going back to do affirmations to resolve a lower vibe, that's because it's in the subconscious. In the subconscious, when you address it, becomes a prevention and resolving solution. If you don't know how to do subconscious rewiring, what I am saying may seem unreal, but it's not. So I learned this 6 years ago. I was doing everything the same way. I was in 12 years of coping and managing, doing exactly everything a therapist told me to do. But I just spent coping and managing until I learned this. And then I was like, people aren't aware of this, like I was. So I share it. Okay? So I want to thank everyone who's here and everyone who's listening to what I have to say. You can actually have a question. You are welcome to put it in the comments and I'll try to answer it. Okay? So cognitive distortions that we were talking about, don't use them to identify what you do, but use them to enhance what you do. Maximizing and minimizing. So maximize the good, minimize the bad. Magical thinking, instead of thinking of what the worst is, think of the best that's going to be happening. Personalization, instead of saying, hey, this person is being mean to me because I have something going on in me, there's something wrong with me, instead of, well, this person is in a place, let me be patient with them. Okay? You can use those cognitive distortions in that way. And you go online, they talk about them all the time. If you print them out, then you can, I use them to help people to figure out the things they want to enhance with subconscious rewiring and how they react. And then they can actually, again, use the videos. The videos are there. They're great tools. I designed them. They're not the process of them is not mine. I did not make them up. Not that smart. But the steps, I put them in the videos so that when a person actually plays those videos, they have a shift each time. So it's not about talking, and feeling like I got to get everything off the chest. This is actually about addressing it and making your brain do certain things that help it to resolve. Okay? So we all have the ability to do that. Does it mean we all have to do it? No. Again, we all have free choice. But my channel, the reason why I go live, the reason why I put this up is because I want the option to be there. Because I didn't know about the option. I spent 12 years. And then finally, someone said something to me. And that's what I want to be. The person who says something to someone and it transforms their lives of how they're looking at things. And then they start doing actions and steps that just keep leveling them up. Leveling them up. and how they're navigating their expansion of what they're able to do, their mental resilience. It's awesome. It's amazing. It's amazing. And it's pleasant. It's fast and it's lasting. Don't take long. I've done some interesting thing. It doesn't take long. So I personally, I'm a massage therapist, okay, and I work with people who have chronic pain that's connected to emotion. So this works really good. I'm able to help them to address them so that when I'm working on their muscles and it releases, it's releasing not only the physical muscle, but it's also releasing the subconscious. Okay, so remember, everything that we're doing in our lives, when we repeat it and with intensity, that basically just tells the brain how to keep doing things in life. So it's awesome to be able to have that ability. I tell people all the time, you're looking at superpowers on TV and you're talking about you want a superpower, you got one. It is amazing when you start using it, how it will actually effortlessly get you through life without having to exit all the time because of mental fatigue. Too tired, too busy, no money, too sick. Okay? So, what is everyone thinking? If you want to put anything in the comments, you can put something in the comments. If you have a question, give me a question. Okay? Because I love to answer questions. So, neuroscience, this is neuroplasticity. This is a science. This is about your brain, the science of your brain. And it's not taught in school when we go to school. And when you go to the doctor, he don't tell you about this. But it's out there to learn. So as soon as you start Googling neuroplasticity, emotional intelligence, I think even this live, you're going to start seeing some things start popping up. Okay? And so emotional intelligence is our ability to perceive, use, understand, and manage emotions effectively. Subconscious rewiring allows us to do those subconscious rewirings that are those automatic ones, okay? And then we have neuroplasticity, and that's just the science of your brain. You can get all that information on there. I just, what I call it dumbing down, because that's how I understood it when I was looking at it. And I was like, this just has to be made simple. So neuroplasticity is the mechanics that allows your brain to adapt when you gain knowledge or skills, encounter something new, or experience profound emotions like awe or grief. Okay? Your brain can start to navigate all that stuff faster. Now, if we are used to using emotional distress to feel, it's not going to feel good to get rid of that because we're not learning how to use our other emotions. There's so many emotions that we can use. But if we get used to using fear, then the brain is not wanting to let it go because that's the emotion it's most used to using. Okay? So, as you go on through life and as you learn things, because this is an important thing, it's an important thing to start to learn. Continue to learn. Sometimes because learning when we were children was kind of pressured and people, the idea of learning and doing things new, it doesn't make them feel good. But actually learning is like the best way to keep variety in life, growth in life, and not becoming stagnant. Okay? So keep up the good work of what you're doing. Okay? And, I just learned how to do some things over here. This is only my third live, and I was wondering how I actually got good at handling my little chat. So that's good. I think I just got it. Awesome sauce. So if anyone have any questions, we're about leveling up, not being stagnant, knowing something that is an option that you can use. Okay? Thank you so much, Lifeline Ministries from Texas. It's very kind of you. I take all that good stuff. Okay? So, let's remember that we get to decide how we want to feel and to think. Because we're saying, oh no, that sounds robotic, but actually it was put in already by heterosuggestion of other people. So you're actually not thinking what you want is based on someone else. And so as an adult, we can actually start to, the unhelpful things we can do, ones that are helpful, we can keep. That's the good thing about it. That's the good thing about the brain. That's the good thing about learning. So 0 to 7, that's parents' job, is to help you as much as possible. Okay. So it's very important. It's very important for us to be able to understand our brain, and then we can do good things. We can do good things. So I appreciate everyone being here. Does anyone have any questions? Let's see here. Oh, look at that. I didn't know that. I could put someone in timeout. Oh, so if anyone in the chat is not being nice to someone, I could put them in timeout. Woohoo, that's exciting. I didn't know that. I will put you in timeout. That's a cute little thing to have. So, okay, I see I have another aneurysm, and yet I felt I was getting better with neuroplasticity. Can any of this help strengthen my physical brain? Yes, that's what neuroplasticity is. It's your brain. Absolutely. So now here's the thing. We already have a concept about illnesses and health and fears and all of those things. And it affects our inner physician. That's what I call it. We all have an inner physician to do its job. That's why when you cut yourself, your finger, you don't have to sit there and instruct your finger to heal. It automatically does it. That's natural to us. No one thinks we're crazy if we say, oh, I cut my finger and then it heals. Or if I break a bone and then it heals. No one sits there and says, woo, 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 she's crazy. She says that she cuts her finger. But if I say you have an inner physician in you that can actually do even greater things if you allow it, if your subconscious programs are not interfering, telling it that it's broken, that it has to be sick, that it is a diabetic. I'm a diabetic. We claim it. We own it. Okay? Instead of praising our body for what it's done, telling it thank you, and telling it you're doing a great job, keep going, keep going, keep going, so that it starts to shift. Okay, we can take a medicine and we can read and see that we can take a medicine and believe that it'll change us, but we won't sit there and think that our inner physician can change us. So I tell people, you want to work together, whatever you're using. If you're going to a physician, work with your physician. Okay, and believe that he's going to help you. Okay. So it's very important to understand that our talk, our autosuggestion, our heterosuggestion from all over that has been going on in life, okay, it affects our mind and what we do, what we choose to do, what we think, what we say. And so it's just up to us. We get to, on our own, decide how we want to do things. Okay. So now, let's see what we got here. I'm looking to see if there's anything else. Okay, so my program is a self-help, okay? This is all stuff that anybody can know and to use. You use the tools. That's all you got to do on DIYmentalboost.com. They are at no charge. You watch the video, and then your brain starts to enhance at how it is addressing and doing things. Hey, Kelly, welcome to see you, girl. Is it best to do? Yes, it is, but it all depends. So let's say you're driving or you're doing no, because you're supposed to be focusing on other things. But let's say you're at home or you're watching something and it's causing a reaction. Yes, that's a really good time. Okay. Now, it's very important. Are you using, if you know the steps well, you could just do them like, but I usually tell people, if you don't know the steps well, if you're just starting out, then what you want to do is you want to use the videos. That's why they're there. You know, I have over 400 videos, and I would say I probably have about 150 self-session videos. And I usually tell people, try not to focus on what your biggest issue is, because it sometimes can cloud your I guess I want to say your monitor, and it gets desperate. So I have the playlist, Make Peace with Your Emotion. It has several different emotions that you can just sit down. and be able to do it. So it's very important. This is self-help. This is a non-clinical approach. This is an approach that anyone can do. You don't have to wait for it. And on my website, you don't have to pay for it. See, when I learned about this, because I said there was something going on in my life, and someone said to me, and have you heard about it? And I was like, no. And I went right away. But you know, when I got there and she said she could help me, she said it was $600. I found out that was cheap. After I learned all this, like, oh, that was cheap. $600. And but you know what? I was in such a state. And this is desperation state. And we don't want to be in a desperation state where the brain figures out what to do for us. But I was in such a desperation state, I went ahead and booked everything I needed to book. And I went home and I was like, it's going to have to figure out how. I don't know how, but it's going to happen. And I was able to do those. The only thing is the person that I went to couldn't explain to me the science of it. So that's when I started doing my own research. And that's how I got into all of this. And then that's how I started helping my massage clients with their emotions, and was helping so they didn't have to be coming to me because they were in pain. Teaching them to come to me once their brain listened to them, and then they came as a reward. So it is best to do the steps during the time of an emotions. It's okay. But if you can't, then you just set aside. I tell people 30 minutes is really all you want to be doing a week with your brain, with a self session, because you want to train your brain that it listens to you in a short period of time and without too much pressure. Because when you're doing the 3-step thought process, there is no convincing you to change your mind. There's no talking it with you. It's just you do 1, 2, 3 steps and the brain shifts on its own if you're doing the 3 steps. If you're not following the 3 steps, there are, I need to do a little video one time on that, on what can happen with regards to if you're not doing the 3 steps and why it doesn't seem to be helping and you're just staying stagnant. Okay, so thank you, B.S. Smith, GB2RU. Thank you. Anything else, Kelly? Kelly's been around a little while with me. I really like Kelly. She's my trooper. Okay. Oh, Robin Moore. So this is who you want to go to if you are not wanting to do it DIY. Okay, or you want just a little assistance, or you want a good session and then do the rest on your own. Okay, you want to go to NEUROPLASTICTY and their skillstochange.com. Skillstochange.com. Oh, hold on a second. That's who I learned from, and I learned it well. He is really good. Now, if you want a session with him, it's $1,200 a session. But it is the holidays, and he always does a discount. He always gives 50% off. Okay? If there's ever a time you're going to use a credit card, this is the time, because he does amazing teaching you. You're going to get shifts, even in your first session. Okay? Because you're going to see how your brain is working, and you're going to understand it. So don't be worried about that. But like, who was dealing with the aneurysms and the physical brain? Okay, so what he does is there's a book that I use actually with my clients. It's called Secret Language of the Body. It'll tell you where aneurysms come from, as in the emotions that could link to it. Okay, let me explain that. Meaning that there are certain emotions that cause certain things trigger in our body. Okay, yes. I understand that, Robin. So that's why I have my website. It teaches people to do things on their own. It's pleasant. It's fast. It may take you a little longer than if you went into a session, but it's there. And I would not have put it up as a self-help if it was going to be difficult for individuals. Okay. But what I do say is you can get enough shifts that, literally 30 minutes a day, you will in 3 months be different, 6 weeks be different place than what you were before. Hello, Andrea. So keep that in mind. Okay. keep that in mind, that even though you have not the money, don't worry about that. You're not being shortchanged for not being able to go to the actual individuals who do it. Okay. Matter of fact, when it comes to neuroplasticity, even some of the things I'm saying to you right now can trigger a shift. Okay. Like literally, they're called aha moments. Have you ever had that happen? Someone says something and your brain just like, oh, I get it. And people have had shifts from physical things just because of understanding what I'm trying to say. And the other thing is that even as you just keep coming every Wednesday at 7, and as you're hearing the information, you're hearing the information, you're hearing the information, that's causing a shift. If you're excited about the information, okay, taking it in, that can cause shifts. Okay, so your brain wants to help you in many ways. And you can use the tools that help for really good shifts. I really like that. And then you're going to probably go online, because all of this stuff is coming up probably after you've watched this. And you're going to see a lot of people out there. When I started this, I was like, oh my goodness, this information has been out here for decades. And I was like, and now it's, all my algorithms for all this stuff just pop them up all the time. So you're going to enjoy the process. Okay. You're going to enjoy the process. You can't help yourself, because your brain is your tool. It's your superpower. It is there for you. That's my whole game, is to help people understand they have a superpower. And as you practice using it, you will be amazed. Amazed. And instead of feeling that you're helpless with your brain, or you just, it's heartwarming. And so I hope that everyone will be able to appreciate what I'm saying. I have worksheets, no charge. I have workshops, no charge. I have online courses, no charge. They're all at DIYmentalboost.com. If you actually use them, or when you decide, it's there. No pressure. The thing is this. When you see it there, online, and you know what I'm saying, it is always there for when you're ready for it. It's always there. It's not going anywhere. Because a lot of times we may hear things and we have to mull over it a little bit, or think about it, or, that's okay. It's always there. It is remarkable. So my actual online course that I have, it's 56 videos. Sit down. You can do 1 or 2 a week, but it's going to create shifts. I have an online course to understand the 3-step thought process, so you can understand how it works. That's also on my website. That's no cost. It's all there for you to be able to navigate your life and change it. We've been taught to use emotional distress throughout life, every day. But for the body and how it functions, that particular usage every day makes it have to work extremely hard and almost cannot keep up. But if you think about how you're still going in life, it shows you how powerful your brain is. You're wonderfully made. Everyone, you're wonderfully made. Okay? Wonderfully made. And by actually, taping someone. I talked to Renee. There we go. Once you understand that, you'll want to use it. You'll just love it. I cannot even talk to you enough about how much me and my brain, we good friends. We are super good friends. I talk about it like a third person, but I understand it was my tool. And when it's doing something like today, last night, what my lovely little brain did? It decided to lose my movie ticket, even though I had just put it in my pocket. And I was like, what are you doing? I go, thank you for getting me here to the movies. Thank you for letting me hold all this popcorn and everything. But next time, please do not lose my ticket. You'll learn to be really nice to your brain, even when it's hurting. You learn to start saying, I understand something's going on, but I loved all that you've done for me. And it's just the same as when you work with a child. So your subconscious mind, you cannot treat it just like your conscious mind. It doesn't know right and wrong, good and bad. It only knows what you tell it. So the more you tell it how good it is and the programs that you're putting in, the subconscious mind then generates that. If you're telling it, oh, I'm so mad at you, you're fat, you're telling the subconscious mind to run fat programs. Which, if you're okay with being at a higher weight, because some people, they're like, hey, I need some meat on my bones. I want some more. Some say I want less. But the programs that we run is what the body tells us. And once you know that, then you can start working. So I was talking to someone today, and he says, well, you know what? I told that to my brain. I said, yeah, but what is the other message you tell your brain all the time? The most. That's what it runs off of. You just want a dominant mental attitude, a dominant one. You don't have to have 100%. It's not required. All the mind requires is that you understand what you want. And when it understands you don't want to use emotional distress anymore in your life. Now, emotional distress is this. I don't want people to think lower vibes are bad and you can't be sad and you can't cry. That's not what it is. So emotional distress, let's see if I wrote it down somewhere, what it is. Yeah, it's a state of mind. And it comes with these symptoms. Feeling overwhelmed, helpless, hopeless, feeling guilty without a clear cause, spending a lot of time worrying, having difficulty thinking, sleeping too much, too little. Okay, so they got all this stuff. The simplest thing is this. After I have a cry, do I feel better? And is it resolved? Or do I have to keep crying? That lets you know that's emotional distress. Okay? If someone does something and you get upset with them, once you've talked it over, is it done? Or is it still turning into emotional stress? See, that's the things you want to learn the brain how to do. Okay? That's emotional distress. There's a whole long list of this, that, and the other. The bottom line is this. After you've done what you said is supposed to help you, do you feel good? And is that issue resolved? I mean resolved, not temporarily resolved. Is it resolved? Or is it going to pop up again? That's how you know. Okay? Prevention, resolution. The brain is capable of it. It was designed to be capable of it. When we use higher vibes, that's what it will do. When you use lower vibes, it knows to do something different, which is to stop, pay attention, and take some kind of other action. But if you tolerate it and ignore it, then that is when the helpfulness starts to fade and it turns into something else. So it's the same as liking dessert. I like dessert, but it can become unhelpful, possibly, or any other scenario that you can think of, like if you want some wine, you like it, but it can become unhelpful, right? The doctor gives you meds, it can become unhelpful if you don't follow the instructions. Okay, same thing with the brain. It's little warning system. You're on a road, you're traveling down the road, and you have those little blah, 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 if you get too to the right, too much to the right, or too to the left. That's what that is. We don't stay on the blah. It's to jolt us to say, oh, pay attention, let's get back on track. That's what lower vibe emotions are supposed to do. When there's pain and things going along in the brain from emotions, it's just manifesting it as it. And once you address it, it'll become dormant. It'll eliminate. So that's what I like to share. I'm glad that you're here. I appreciate everyone being here. It is 8 o'clock. Love to everyone. The one message you get, love your brain. Be kind to your brain. Love your brain. Be kind to your brain. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, everyone who's come. So it's Jagiste. I don't know if they're still here. And then B. Smith, thank you. I appreciate if I've said anyone's name that's not there. I apologize, but I do have a great appreciation. We had a really good, up to 14 people showed up. Oh, I love it. Okay, we love you guys. I will talk to you next time. See you next Wednesday.